Listen carefully. What I'm about to share isn't flashy advice about cars, money, or pickup lines. It's something quieter, deeper, what lingers in a woman's mind long after you've walked away. The Stoics taught that strength is not in noise, but in presence. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Attraction is the same. It's not what you show off, it's what you embody. Most men chase attention with loud gestures or desperate actions. Women are moved by subtlety, by calm presence, by steady energy. It's the quiet moments she remembers. A man who sits in silence, unshaken, often has more impact than the one speaking the loudest. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Stop performing. Start being." Imagine walking into a room. Most men announce themselves. But the one who doesn't rush, who lets presence speak before words, that man is unforgettable. Women feel it instantly, even if they never admit it. Attraction is not tricks or tactics. It's calm confidence, what Seneca meant when he said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Master these signals, and you won't just catch attention. You'll command respect without trying. Stay with me, because I'll break down these gestures one by one, so you'll never see attraction the same way again. Eye contact. Most men underestimate it. They avoid it out of nerves or break it too soon. But when you hold her gaze for just one heartbeat longer, you create a spark that words can't match. Look into one eye, then the other, then briefly at her lips, before returning to her eyes. This subtle triangle builds tension and presence. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your thoughts are calm and confident, your eyes will reveal it without effort. A woman senses this energy instantly. If she glances down, tucks her hair, or smiles, you've already left an impression. Then there's the smile. Not a forced grin. Not a desperate attempt to please. What drives her wild is the quiet, masculine half-smile. The kind that says, "I'm comfortable. I don't need to prove myself." Think of when you hear a joke that isn't that funny, but it earns a subtle smirk that's the power. Seneca wrote, "A man who is brave is free." That freedom shows in your smile, because you're not trapped by the need for approval. A genuine half-smile, held for a second before fading, can pull her into your presence stronger than any compliment. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A calm gaze and subtle smile are reactions that radiate control. They show her you are steady, composed, and self-assured. And that is more attractive than any loud display. One of the simplest, yet most overlooked signals is the slow head tilt. Not exaggerated, just enough to show you're truly listening. When she speaks and you lean in slightly with that small tilt, it tells her, "I hear you, I'm present." Most men miss this moment, but she feels it immediately. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That gentle tilt is proof that you live by this wisdom. And if she leans closer or mirrors your movement, that's connection real. Quiet attraction. Then there's a gesture most men do without noticing. Touching the neck or jawline. When done naturally, lightly brushing your jaw or grazing your neck, it draws her attention. Biologically, women are wired to notice these areas. They signal confidence and masculinity. If she mirrors you, touching her own neck or adjusting a necklace, the attraction is mutual. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." That strength is reflected not only in words, but in the way you carry your body. A calm tilt, a subtle touch, no fidgeting, no rush. These quiet gestures reveal more than any performance. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Don't fear the silence or the simplicity of presence, because sometimes the smallest moves make the greatest impact. Confidence is seen before a word leaves your lips, soften in the way you walk. Most men shuffle in, heads down, eyes glued to their phones. But a man who enters with steady steps, shoulders back, head level, he claims his space without asking. That calm pace says, "I know who I am." Women notice instantly. Marcus Aurelius said, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Your stride reflects your ambition, not loud, not rushed, but deliberate." Even in a crowded room, that unhurried walk separates you from the restless crowd. It's not arrogance, it's composure. Then comes the small act of adjusting clothing. Rolling up sleeves, straightening a collar, or setting a watch done slowly with intention. Not fidgeting, but deliberate motion. These gestures tell her you care for yourself, that you're composed even in the smallest details. Seneca taught, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Apply this same principle to movement. No rush, no panic. A pause before you adjust your jacket can feel magnetic, because confidence is never frantic. It's calm, and calmness draws her in. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This applies here. Don't perform for approval. Simply move with presence and let your actions speak. A confident walk and deliberate adjustments reveal a man in control, steady, grounded, unforgettable. Most men lean forward, chasing approval, but attraction lives in relaxation. Leaning back slightly, resting one arm, keeping posture open, it shows ease, not desperation. A man who looks comfortable in his own space becomes a magnet. She leans in, not because you chase, but because you draw her naturally. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Posture is the mind expressed through the body. When you sit with calm assurance, you project mastery over yourself, and she feels it without words. Then comes silence. Most rush to speak, fearing the pause. But a short delay before answering makes you appear thoughtful, composed, in control. The pause builds anticipation. It makes her lean closer, waiting for what comes next. Seneca reminded us, "Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life." A man who does not fear silence radiates inner strength. Even after a joke, letting a heartbeat pass before smiling or speaking makes the moment more powerful. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastering posture and silence shows you are free and shaken, steady and present. And that presence is what captures her attention more than any clever line ever could. Sometimes the smallest acts carry the greatest weight. A light hand at her lower back as you guide her through a crowd, or offering your hand when she steps up a stair. These are gestures of awareness. They say without words, "I see you. I've got you." Done naturally, they create safety, not control. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best way of avenging yourself is not to become like the wrongdoer." In attraction, this means you don't dominate to impress. You lead with calm strength, showing care instead of force. That quiet leadership earns trust, and trust builds desire. Epictetus reminded us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. A protective gesture shows you want nothing in return laid to guide with respect. This selfless strength makes her feel valued, not owned. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." True bravery is not reckless, it's steady confidence that assures those around you. When she accepts your hand or leans into your guidance, she's showing trust. Attraction begins there, in the foundation of respect and quiet confidence. It's not about being flashy. It's about leading with presence so she feels secure in your company without you ever having to say a word. Attraction is often unspoken. One of the clearest signals is mirroring. When she copies your gestures, crossing her legs, touching her face, or leaning back, it's not random. Her subconscious is aligning with yours. Psychologists call it rapport, but the Stoics would call it harmony. Marcus Aurelius said, "Observe always that everything is the result of change, and accustom yourself to think that there is nothing nature loves so well as to change existing forms." Her mirroring shows that your presence is shaping her state. Another hidden sign, Her voice lowers when speaking to you. In a noisy room, she might laugh loudly with friends, but when she turns to you, her tone softens, inviting intimacy. It's her way of creating a private world in public. Seneca wrote, "Conversation has a kind of charm about it, an insinuating and insidious something that elicits secrets from us, just like love or wine. When her voice changes, she's letting you into that hidden space." Epictetus reminded us, if you want to be a writer, write. In attraction, if you want to be present, then be present. Notice these signs without clinging to them, because when she mirrors you or lowers her voice, she's saying, "I feel safe. I feel drawn." That's not performance. It's truth revealed through her body and tone. True connection is not announced. It's felt in the quiet signals she may not even realize she's giving. Your task is not to exploit them, but to remain calm, steady, and aware. That is where real attraction lives. Attraction has never been about loud displays or desperate efforts. It's about present, quiet signals that speak louder than words. The steady gaze, the subtle smile, the calm posture, the deliberate pause. These are the marks of a man who knows himself. Marcus Aurelius said, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig." When you cultivate presence, women don't just notice you become unforgettable, not because you tried, but because you embodied calm strength. Seneca reminded us, "The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." Likewise, the man who no longer seeks validation disarms the need for approval. He moves with quiet confidence, and that is what draws others closer. Epictetus said, "Seek not the good in external things. Seek it in yourselves." Attraction rooted in externals fades, but attraction born from inner composure, this endures. Because it's not about tricks, it's about character. So remember, the gestures we explored are not performances. They are reflections of presence, of steadiness, of self-control. When you live with that discipline, you won't just capture attention. You will command respect, effortlessly. Stay with this path, because once you master these subtle truths, you'll never look at attraction or yourself the same way again.